Alright, hello once again, Jeff Scott of Rankin Technical College. We are in Chapter 8. I am going to go over strings and regular expressions, but first I just wanted to show you this. I know we've done this already, but I created a file that I called CSS highlights. I had another one that's called HTML highlights. And this is the stuff that I talked about in those kind of intro type of lectures. Alright, I'm going to create another one of these for JavaScript. The only way to learn JavaScript is to write a boatload of programs. Now I've been going over the PowerPoints and we've written some programs, but not really a lot. When I go through this stuff, and I'll have a listing like this by the next time you see the next lectures. Okay? Let's put it this way, within a few days. And I'll have one of these, it'll be called JavaScript highlights. And then I will be able to sit and talk with you about what we'll cover and what kind of programs we'll write. So let's finish this up. First, we've got the JavaScript regular expression, sometimes called regex, sometimes called regexp. Okay? A regular expression, again, is an object that describes a pattern of characters. So here's the pattern. The pattern is put between forward slashes. The I means that it's case insensitive, so that would match whether this was lowercase, uppercase, or any mixture of the two. All right. Again, those modifiers that you can use, we looked at these before. I meaning ignore the case, make it a case insensitive match. G global. All right. By default, as soon as when you do a match, as soon as it finds the first one, it stops. Global says find everyone. And the M means do it over multiple lines. All right. Now, if we look at these examples, this is using brackets. ABC means that it has to be an A or a B or a C. This means any character except an A, B, or C. This means any numeric characters, and notice the hyphen is used as a delimiter there. That means between 0 and 9. So this means any numeric character. This means any non-numeric character. This means X, pipe sign Y, which means it has to be an X or a Y. It can only be one or the other. These meta characters, and we looked at these before. Again, the W for a word character, that's a lowercase, uppercase W for a non-word character, lowercase d for a digit, uppercase D for a non-digit, lowercase s for a white space, uppercase S for no white space, lowercase b for beginning or the end of the word, uppercase B not. You're looking for a null character, it's \0, \n finds a new line, \f a form feed, \r a carriage return, and really what a new line is it's a combination of these two. \t finds a horizontal tab, \v finds a vertical tab. \ followed by anything that starts with an X like this and is followed by a number finds it in octal or base 8. Alright. And you can also check in base 16, and you can check for Unicode characters. The quantifiers we already looked at. The plus sign means at least one. The asterisk is 0 or more. The question mark, the asterisk is 0 or more. The question mark is 0 or 1. Putting the curlies in there matches any string that contains that many of these. All right, so you can have the exact number, you can have a range, and you can, a beginning range and an ending range, or just a beginning range. Remember that the $ means ends with, the caret means starts with. Some of the properties that you can use with a regular expression are shown right here. The constructor, which we looked at, but not in much depth. Global, that means the G modifier is set. Ignore case, meaning the I modifier is set. All right. The methods, notice there aren't many, and you notice one is deprecated. So you've got exec, which tests for the match, test, which does, they both do the same kind of thing. ToString, as it says, returns the string value of a regular expression. All right. So there is a full tutorial here on regular expressions. A regular expression, again, a sequence of characters that forms a search pattern. When you search for data in text, you can use the search pattern to describe what you're looking for. The search regular expression can be one or more characters, or any kind of pattern you need it to be. I think this is pretty much what we just went over here. All right. So let's continue on with this. As it says, you can use search to search within a string. So if we looked at the example here, all right, it says, where does W3 school start? Well, it's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so it starts with character 6. That's exactly what this is saying. As mentioned before, you can do a replace. So you'd be replacing Visit Microsoft with Visit W3 Schools as an example. The modifiers we already talked about. The expressions we already talked about. In JavaScript, as it says, the regular expression object is a regular expression with predefined properties and methods. All right, we talked about test already. We talked about exec already. All right, for a complete reference, go to our JavaScript. I think that I'm going back and forth in here because that's the same thing that we were just at. All right, as I mentioned to you before, we could come in with strings. We can go and we can look at this thing from Hunlock, but I don't believe they have anything in here. Maybe they do. Let's check. REG. Here we go. Well, they talk about regular expressions right there. REGE finds one. Where is that? Well, if there's only one instance, it's probably not going to find it. All right. But you know as well as I do that if we go out here and we put in, for example, regular expression tutorial. All right, one of the first ones that's going to come up, in fact, it's the first one, is the one I told you about. So we can go through this. All right, this is good. I'm not going to because it's going to be a lot of the same stuff we already looked at. You'll also notice there is a regex1.com that walks you through, and I believe this one has more examples in it. All right. So let's look at strings for a couple minutes, and then we'll finish this up. All right. So remember, if you want to find, if I run this, this should come back with 26 because that's how many characters there are because we have the alphabet. And you see that it does. When you find a string within a string, okay, it's a substring. So tell me where locate is. It says in 7. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's where does the string begin is what that's saying. I can go from the other direction. So instead of saying index of, I can say last index of. And that will start from the end, so that will actually find this one here. So it says 21. In fact, I think it still is going in the forward direction, but let's check. 1, 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Okay? This is like any other skill though. The only way that this makes sense is for you to practice, 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 practice. Alright? The search method, as it says here, searches for a string, searches a string for a specified value and returns the position of it. Very similar to what we just looked at. So as it says, did you notice the two methods, index of and search, are equal? They accept the same thing, but search can be much more powerful. Okay? There are three different string methods that you can use to extract part of a string. We looked at this again in the chapter. There's slice, there's substring, and there's stub str. Slice, as it says, extracts part of the string and returns the extracted part in a new string. So this says start at character 7 and go to character 13. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it says start here. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It says stop at character 13. So as you see, we get banana. If we give it a negative value, it goes in the other direction. So this finds banana, 7, 13 from the beginning. This finds banana backwards. Okay? It says go backwards. 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. In fact, I think, remember, when we go backwards, it doesn't start at 0. It starts with 1. So that would be 12. And once you get there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay? The substring method, as it says, is similar to slice. The substring can only go in a forward direction. It can't go backwards. Sub str, again, is similar to slice. But as mentioned, the second parameter specifies the length of the extracted part. So they show you how you've got this list of apple, kiwi, and banana, and how you can pull banana out of there in a bunch of different ways. Replace we talked about. We looked at this example just a couple minutes ago in the regular expression. Upper and lower case, ideally at least, they both make sense to you. So if you've got hello world and you convert it to uppercase, there it is in uppercase. If you've got hello world and you want it lowercase, now it's all in lowercase. Again, hopefully just looking at that is intuitive enough that it makes sense. You can use either concat to join two or more strings together or the plus sign. So these two lines that you see right here in the example do the exact same thing. Now notice all string methods return a new string. They don't modify the original string. Strings are immutable. In other words, you can't change a string once you've created it. And that has to do with where it is in memory. Don't worry about it if it doesn't make sense to you. Char at we looked at, and I already showed you this. Char at 0 is going to return the H. Char code at, okay, that's going to return the ASCII value of H, which is 72. Accessing a string as an array is unsafe. So it says, in other words, you shouldn't do this. You do this in other languages, but you shouldn't do it in this language. Remember, to convert a string to an array, you use split. So there's a string, and we're saying we've got separate all the elements, and the comma is the separator right there. So split them up, all right, and it's going to create an array with element 0, element 1, element 2, element 3, and element 4 in it. All right, and as always, there are exercises in here. Okay? And I'm not going to do this, but again, we could go, if we wanted to, we could go to YouTube and find other ones. But just remember, I've said this before, that again, I'm just strongly suggesting this because this Hunlock thing is as good as anything I have ever read. All right, and again, am I biased? Yeah, I guess, but I don't have any reason to be. But there's an actual tutorial. They talk about what you can do with numbers, what you can do with strings, what you can do with arrays, the major built-in JavaScript functions, JSON, which we just looked at a little bit, um, dates, and in the next chapter, we're going to go through security, but the chapter, is it the one after that? Nope, that's mobile, so I'm sure, I'm positive it's chapter 11. We're going to go through Ajax. Okay, why am I telling you that? Because the other thing that's in here is on Ajax. All right, so we're going to be going over all of this stuff. Hopefully going through this helped you, and when we start writing programs, it's going to help you even more. All right, I'll be back soon with Chapter 9.